I'm all about just broadcasting what the best natural athletes look like. We've had so many world champions come out of the Washington, or Orton Cup champions, or national champions. It has a history of the greats. And if you win your pro card at the show, as you experienced, you had to beat some pretty amazing people to do it. And that is an honor. I've always been a fan of saying, hey, you know what? We are natural bodybuilders. And in my opinion, classic physique is going to be based on you have an aesthetic, pretty beautiful physique. And I'd say 99% natural bodybuilders do. So I believe they're kind of one and the same. However, I do know that judging criteria can change a little bit.
And we are live. Aaron, how are you, brother?
I'm doing excellent. How's Robert doing?
Good, man. Good. It's another day in the life. Can't complain, but it's always exciting to talk to you and just see what the Northwest region's got going on as far as bodybuilding is concerned.
Oh, my goodness. It's all kicked off this last weekend. The first show of the season happened kind of on both sides of the states. And now people are prepping. It feels like once March ends and April begins, we start getting phone calls and emails and people stopping by for posing out of the woodwork. And now it's busy season. I exclaimed to the wife that I didn't have one available moment of the last week and a half. 62 session service last week alone is a very, very busy season right now, more so than it's been in a few years, maybe pre-COVID, actually, if we can say that word these days.
I think we can. Hopefully we can. It's been 5 years. We should be able to.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Well, one thing that you've always done that I admire is you do those pretty consistent routine posing clinics at your gym, which I think just brings people in the door, gets them there on site, going through the motions, which I think is super powerful, man. How often do you do those?
We do them every single Saturday, and now the demand typically by April is to do them twice a week. So we do Wednesday and Saturday, usually starting in April.
That's crazy, man. Pretty good turnout each time too, right?
What's that?
Pretty good turnout each time too, right?
Yeah. We by the end of the season, in the past we've been putting on our July show here in Eugene, the Cecil Phillips, and usually those posing classes are building up until that point, and then we've had as many as 30 people showing up on a Saturday. It's just giant classes. I was taught how to do this off of my posing instructor, 10 years back, Andre Scott up in Portland. And I was just wowed by his consistency and passion for the sport and helping everybody. And I was like, we really need that down there in Eugene. And no one wanted to step up. No one wanted the consistency. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it ourselves. So sometimes we'll have our pros, our instructors, our trainers here run the show. Maybe I'll be here once we get into that twice a week madness. So I definitely need to start getting the help from each and everybody to make sure they run.
Yeah, twice a week is no joke, man, especially with that many people showing up. I mean, I can't imagine. Your hands are definitely full.
Definitely full, and that usually concludes my week with that Saturday posing class, and get people in the door, call it a day, enjoy my Saturday with family thereafter. But once the April ends, we'll be kind of having this shift. The people who can't make Saturday, I'll be there Wednesday, and vice versa. A lot of these people end up competing against each other, and they never see each other, but they come to posing classes. It's a big family over here. That's
what it should be, man. Like I've got my membership group, and a lot of them are going to be doing my competition.
Love it.
And it's cool because like they're going to be competing against one another, but they're going through the journey together. And I think having that sense of camaraderie, like that's what you want. I mean, you want people to be friendly,
Yeah, well, it betters everybody. I find that sometimes people get an idea that, this isn't good for me. It's actually really good for you. So when these people show up and, Joe Schmo's looking real hot that week, they all of a sudden are like, well, that motivated me more than anything I could have told myself. And then they show up even better the next week, and they end up bettering each other, and they bring their best to the stage. So we never know what the people who are going to show up is going to be like. All you can do is control yourself. But you put yourself in an environment full of go-getters, you end up just being your best self, and that's what I'm all about.
100%, man. So for anybody listening that doesn't know the context, you've been on my podcast a couple times, I think.
Yep.
But I've done your show. I went pro at your show in 23.
Yeah, the Washington State Natural, right here, this bad boy. So
it's been a battle.
Oh, dude. That was the best ever too. It
was super cool.
Winning the craziest open ever. And the battles were long, and it was apples, oranges, and bananas. That just was like full circle after a decade of you being up there.
Full circle for sure. But you promoting it now and just being at your other shows that you promote, you were one of the main motivators for me to promote my own show because you just did it right. Like your shows were markedly better than any of the other ones I've been to. It was just organized, clear cut, concise. I mean, it was just done right. So you were one of the main motivators for me to promote a show this year. So hats off to you there, man. I appreciate you.
Well, after seeing everything you've done for the community, bringing that up to you is like another vessel out there to broadcast natural bodybuilding and getting athletes up there drug free. Let them know that this exists and that it is possible. Whether you're on one dieting protocol or a ketogenic diet, showing people what's possible is what I'm all about. And I felt like when I started, I didn't know. I never knew there was a big natural bodybuilding scene because there was no shows for it. And when you finally get to one, a good one, you're like, whoa, my eyes are open now. Why do I need to go the enhanced route? Can you believe the amazingness of what you see on the stage? So having you and your improvements and you being able to turn pro, travel the U.S. and now put on your own show, dude, that's setting the seeds and watching it grow. And I love that.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, 100%. So you have got you've got two shows that you've always done.
Yes.
Your show, the Cecil Phillips Classic,
and
then Northwest Natural, and you took that over.
Yep.
But this year, lots changed going into 2025. So talk to me a little bit about how you've got it structured currently.
Yeah, so we always have a demand here in Eugene, Oregon for our local show, the Cecil Phillips Classic. Cecil was my first coach. He was 82 at the time. He passed away at 88 years old. We needed a name for the show, and he had been the godfather of bodybuilding here since 1950s. In fact, he was 1958 Mr. Oregon, and we thought, hey, why don't we name the show after him? That everyone knows who this guy is. He's just a legend in the area. So we got the rights from his family to say, as long as it's a natural show, we'll do this. And we brought it to the area. It was a huge hit. And we just continued that on. The Washington State Natural was the first natural show I did. I think you were similar boat. Coming out to the Northwest with Kevin and Linda James, putting it on in the Seattle area. And that was the first truly natural event I ever did. And I realized real quick, oh my goodness, this is my brethren. These are the people I want to be around and what I'm all about. And they passed the Washington State Natural to me in 2022 and said, hey, Aaron, we want you to continue this legacy. So being able to do two shows, one Oregon, one Washington, has been the gig for a few years. This year, we wanted to do something special for the 20th anniversary. Take all of our demand in Oregon, take all of our demand up there in Seattle, find a converging point in Vancouver, Washington between the two hubs, and put on a bigger event for the 20th anniversary. And we have all kinds of announcements to make on this one because we're not holding back. Like literally every dollar for two shows is going into this one. There's going to be over $40,000 spent to put on this event this year, and it will be enormous. We have the same hotel, venue. We don't have to travel anywhere. After parties in the same spot. The who's showing up. We have Natty News Daily broadcasting this thing, coming out narrating the live stream. We want the biggest natural show in the Northwest to be here for the 20th anniversary, and I'm not unwilling to push every single button to do it.
No, that's awesome, man. I'm super excited. So what's going to be different? Because I mean, your federation has shifted too. So like, what's going to be different from a federation standpoint with your show? Is it going to change anything with the judging criteria? Like, is that any of that going to change?
Good question. So not to get into too nitty gritty, overall, same idea. This is a polygraph and urinalysis tested event. Anyone who's really been in the natural bodybuilding scheme like yourself, who've done multiple federations and shows, you've seen a whole different level of drug testing. Some shows a little bit more strict than others. I've always fallen in love with the 7 or 10-year drug testing schematic because you want people who are lifetime drug free, typically battling it out on a level playing field. So where the ANBF is the federation that has sanctioned the Washington State Natural for the 2025 show, the 20th anniversary. And really, it's 7 years drug-free. We got our polygraph. We got our urinalysis. We do have a change from 8 to 5 for pro qualifying classes. So if you're somebody that's like in a 5-person class, and you've seen some good classes out there with 5 people, well, they didn't get it because of, let's say, a greater requirement of competitors. We want to say, hey, what is it that people want? We want to listen to the competitors. We want to listen to the pros and say, we're going to give you everything you want to see at a show versus what these concerns and complaints might be for too much restriction, cost effectiveness, how, let's say, the pro caliber, pro classes are ran or the awards. So the goal with the ANBF is competitors come first. It's not about the promoter. It's not about making money. It's about the experience. And coming to my shows that everything's got to be organized to a T. You got to make sure that the competitor has no additional worries, that they can focus on themselves. They can pump up with weights backstage. They can bring a 100% package to our stage. That's really important to me. I don't want you to be confused about how something's running, not getting enough information. You don't know where anything is, not organized. I can't do that. I want to make sure that it is all taken care of for you. That way you can get on stage, look the absolute best you can, and have some award-winning pictures and awards for these athletes. To get into the nitty gritty, the pro classes, we are allowing pros for this show that is from any federation. So if you're OCB, WNBF, IFBB, ANBF, if you're NGA pro, there's a lot of natural feds. There's over 20 natural feds in the United States.
Which is crazy, by the way.
And the Northwest doesn't have a lot of natural pro shows. So having a show that says, hey, it doesn't matter what organization or federation you're a part of. If you can show us proof that you've won that pro card, you can get up on our pro stage, allows what these athletes have always agreed upon, which is once a pro, always a pro. If you earn that right, you earn that title. I don't care when you won. 15, 20 years ago, show me proof, you can get on that stage. People want that. They appreciate that. They earned that. And we want to give them a stage for it.
And then as long as they pass all the drug testing requirements, like if they're pro IFBB, which is typically an untested federation, but they can verify that they are natural with this show, then no issues.
Yeah, and this allows more athletes of different, backgrounds. We want to bring people together. It's always about a meeting space, a conglomerate of great athletes coming together. I'm all about just broadcasting what the best natural athletes look like. Like, if you've been to Washington, we've had so many world champions come out of Washington, or Orton Cup champions, or national champions, or future IFBB pros who have come to this show and competed. It has a history of the greats. And if you win your pro card at the show, as you experienced, you had to beat some pretty amazing people to do it. And that is an honor to be on that poster, to win your pro card, the Washington State Natural. It's not an easy feat. A lot of people look great. They won pro cards elsewhere, and they came to the show in the past, and they weren't able to get that W. But now, hey, you have a choice. You want a pro card elsewhere, or if you won it 5-10 years ago, you can compete in the pros. Or if you want to, test your mettle again in the amateurs, we allow that as well.
Nice. What about the divisions? So what divisions will y'all have, both male and female?
Yeah, so we are allowing pretty much every division except for the new fit model division, which is essentially natural novice bikini. Anyway, we allow wellness, classic physique, bodybuilding. We have figure. We have women's bodybuilding, and we have FemFit physique, which is essentially the WNBF fit body version. A couple changes there, but ultimately the same idea with heels. We're presenting some muscularity. We have our bikini, and then we do allow things like the pros to come in, and we're looking for pro bodybuilding this year, pro figure, pro women's bodybuilding, pro FemFit physique, which is the fit body variation you're accustomed to, and pro bikini. So all the divisions there except for wellness, because we're just going to try to create some wellness pros for the natural ranks in the Northwest. There really isn't that many, but we have some new blood coming out from the OCB that are like, you know what? Hey, there's no OCB pro show here in the Northwest, and we have a lot of pros walking around. They have to go out east to compete. Well, here's an opportunity for them.
100%, man. What do you think about the OCB kind of joining forces with the WNBF?
I don't think the OCB did. I think the NANBF joined forces.
Yeah, NANBF, I guess, the two amateur regions.
Going back 10 years, you and I, 2014, the Washington State Natural was sanctioned by the NANBF at the time. So that federation has been part of us. It's been part of the pros, and what they become thereafter, which was back in the day IFPA pros. IFPA, it did go away and disintegrate into WNBF, OCB, and the NANBF pro ranks, which is called the IPE. And so those converging together just allows a little bit more of the Midwest to see, the world championships, the higher end ranks, and kind of shuttle them into maybe greater quantities of competitors on stage, which is really what we're trying to do as well, is saying, hey, you know what, if you are at that level, you want to step up to the big guns, we got an opportunity for you on our stage.
Yeah, it's reassuring, man. I feel like in my region, Central Arkansas or Northwest Arkansas, just the Central states in general, there's like no WNBF shows. Like I was going to be the first, so having the NANBF kind of joining forces there from an amateur rank, it's like, okay, hopefully some of these NANBF shows will
Yeah.
carry the competitors over to mine. That's the goal, anyways.
That's a goal. And you being able to communicate with more promoters, more athletes, teams, coaches, that's number one. If you provide a good natural bodybuilding experience, people are going to be there. They're going to come back. Love on them. That's what we always say. And those competitors will love back. Really, the goal shouldn't be to ever make them feel like discouraged or that it wasn't worth their time, effort, and money. We want to be like, hey, here's a group of amazing athletes to befriend and then compete with. I've noticed over the last 5 years that there's been some trickling down, a lot of the same faces. Getting that new blood in there has been something that's been a big goal of ours, while providing our own athletes, building up to it. Just saying, hey, here's an opportunity with the ANBF to say, you know what, we can get more people, and we can get people who are fantastic that were told previously you can't compete in our pro ranks even though you're a pro. That was discouraging. Saying, hey, we'll recognize that pro card. You want to try your hand with our pros? Let's do this thing. And if you know Kent Beerley, the president of the ANBF, and you watch his pro shows, you'll see that. You're going to see pros from all over jumping in, and I love watching his shows and seeing, oh, that guy I've seen at that Fed, and that guy I've seen at this show, and that Fed, and having that conglomerate of people battling it out. They love it. They eat it up, and it's really a place for them to come back to each year.
100%, man. I wasn't honestly very familiar with the ANBF prior to chatting with you. Is there, like, geographically speaking, are they primarily based in one region or the other?
They are. So the Northeast is essentially where the ANBF was born and created about 12 years ago. Kent Beerley, he is what I love about Kent is he's very much like me. He wants to lead by example. He's not telling people what to do. He's doing it first, right? He's like, look, I'm going to blaze this trail. You can follow me if you want. Ken is an IFBB pro, a WNBF pro, an OCB pro, and an ANBF pro. Okay. Kent also competed at the Yorton Cup, Ben Weeder, the WNBF Worlds, and the Mr. America last year. So we're talking, here's the promoter and federation head, the president who's going and competing at anything and everything. And he runs his own Fed. He's not discouraging anybody. He's not telling them, hey, you have to do only my federation. In fact, he told me as an ANBF promoter, you better compete in other Feds in other stages, because we don't want any discourse on, oh, it could be favoritism if you compete with us. He wants us to go spread the word of natural bodybuilding. And I love that idea. I love seeing him do it. I love how successful he is. He doesn't, separate. He brings people together, and that's what we've always wanted to do with our event as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the physique should do the talking, regardless of the federation behind it. So like let the chips settle where they may in that regard.
Sure. And a lot of the times, people are going to go where the biggest stages are. Smaller shows are going to have a harder time with how competitive, how many shows are going on these days, especially in those coastal cities. But at the end of the day, if you can put on a great event, you give a lot back. People see that there's a lot of limelight, good stage, good lighting, good organization. They're going to tell their friends, family, they're going to be there. And that's what leads to the growth we're looking for.
100%, man. Do you have an opinion on the WNBF adopting classic physique now as a division?
Yeah, I think the demand for classic physique has been there since it was created. I've always been a fan of saying, hey, you know what? We are natural bodybuilders. And in my opinion, classic physique is going to be based on you have an aesthetic, pretty beautiful physique. And I'd say 99% natural bodybuilders do. So I believe they're kind of one and the same. However, I do know that judging criteria can change a little bit, because that shredded to the bone alien conditioning and bodybuilding may not be as aesthetic as somebody holding a little bit more body fat. So having this hybrid between the men's physique to the bodybuilding, I think it's great to get some of these physique guys, men's physique, to maybe take the board shorts up and try a few poses. And we have that going on with some of our athletes this year. They've always been men's physique, but bodybuilding was a little extreme. Here's an opportunity to cross compete, and that's working out well so far. I think it's a good idea to offer it up and see what happens this year.
Yeah, no, totally, man. I'm curious to see how that's received. I know it's popular. I feel like people are going to be gravitating to it. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Well, there's some promoters, not in the U.S., but elsewhere, where class physique is all the draw. And they've, even in certain feds that's not offered, have said, well, we're going to do it for funsies. And it's had more and more people show up. If the demand is there, it's probably smart to provide it.
Yeah, 100%. What about you personally, man? Like, when are you going to step on stage again?
That's a good question. The last three preps I've done have all been essentially not forced. So like right now I'm dieting down. I turned 40 this summer. We got a 10-year anniversary, a 20th anniversary of the Washington State Natural. And I'm like, you know what? I'm dieting alongside my competitors right now. So I might get on stage this year. We'll see if all the cards fall correctly. But I'm not one to say, hey, I have to do a show anymore. I think I've done 27 shows. And I realized that when I enjoy things, when I don't force them, when it comes naturally, I look my best and I'm not very stressed. So that's kind of the approach this year. And if I do get on stage, it'll probably be October, November by the end of the year, maybe a hair earlier. But with our event in September, with your event late September, I want to make sure that my cognitive function stays intact first. I've seen people put on shows and diet through them. Whew, there's enough stress as it is for me putting on a show. I don't want to be 5% body fat and trying to organize all those things simultaneously.
Yeah, that's quite the beast to bear.
It's possible, but it's a lot.
Yeah, 100%, man. How do you frame your day-to-day structure, man? Because you're coaching people.
Sure.
I mean, what's filling your time? You got, kiddo, wife, family. You got the business, the gym. You've got the promotion. You've got all this stuff going on. Like, how do you keep all the plates in the air, so to speak?
Oh man, I'd have to ask you yourself because I think we all have to strategize here. But really, prioritizing for me is having a set schedule that you're adhering to each and every day. Because if one domino falls, I feel like the whole day can be thrown for a loop. I train about 70 different people, so I have a very full schedule in training, and probably 2/5 of those are competitors. So they require the utmost attention. My schedule is typically getting up at like 6 a.m., getting breakfast ready, getting everything ready, animals ready for the day, prep the foods. I make lunch for my wife and I, come to work. I train from 8 a.m. to about 7 p.m. each day with a break to work out and a break for admin like this. And then once I'm done training everybody and I train myself, I get home, spend an hour with the kids, spend an hour with the wife, and rinse and repeat each and every day. So that's what works well for me. When I'm prepping, though, I notice that my sleep parameters shorten a little bit, and I don't sleep as much. So because of that, I feel like I can get more work done. I can be even more productive. So if I'm shredded, you're going to notice that I'm somehow doing like 2 work days put into one each day, and that helps me get through it all.
A lot of people fall into fitness as a lifestyle. They become passionate about it. They adopt a training philosophy, nutritional protocol, and then that's just separate from their day job, separate from their income stream.
Yep.
You've got it all intertwined, intermingling. How do you continue to enjoy the lifestyle of fitness and nutrition without becoming just a burdened by it as a employment and source of income from you?
That is a great question because I've witnessed after we've had 50 trainers here, 50 interns, thousands of clients, and I've been at this for dang near 20 years now. The number one was when I asked myself before I built my business, do you see yourself doing this in 10 years? And the honest answer was yes. Yeah, I'll still be doing this, knowing full well that this is my passion. This is what I feel like is my calling and what I'm interested in, all rolled into one, has really helped me maintain my enthusiasm. Now, there's times when that wanes and I'm just sitting here going, oh my gosh, I need a little breather. And we all do. But at the end of the day, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy seeing them have success. I get emails from competitors who, let's say, compete or diet down or do the shows that are just so heart touching, that are like, wow, like that's what it's all about to me. And looking forward to helping the next person, having the experiences I have had when it comes to posing or training or competing at a show and meeting Kevin and Linda James and having that love and support from them that has yielded me wanting to do the same for others. Really, for me, like I get fulfillment, and that's number one.
Yeah, so it's all because of everybody else that's intermixed with you, man. Like all the positivity they bring, it just becomes a self-fulfilling thing.
Yeah, for others, it can be daunting. I understand that. I'm also a Marine, so my idea of discipline is different than most. And I have clients all the time tell me, "You're crazy. You're a crazy man," because I train so hard and I work so much and I do all this stuff. And if I put that same amount of effort towards another occupation, I'd probably make a lot more money, but that wouldn't bring me fulfillment. This does, and that's what I think has really yielded success long term. Is that people feel that I really want them to be successful. I really want to broadcast what we do, and I don't tell people, they're not allowed to do something else. It's like, hey, we have clients that do marathons and powerlifting and strongman and even roller derby, and we're here to help them regardless of the goal. Just seeing improvement and progression is what's yielded success.
Totally, man. Last time I had you on, we talked about why we stay natural, what got you into the sport of natural bodybuilding, what's motivated you to keep natural. Do you feel at any points, I get all kinds of podcast pitches about people, using peptides and doing it from
Oh,
like not necessarily a performance standpoint, but just from like a longevity, health, and optimization standpoint.
sure.
Do you have any thoughts towards, as you age, as your wife ages, would it make sense to go that route and hang up the natural bodybuilding posing trunk, so to speak?
You know what? I find that this is such a gray area, and it can turn people towards the sport or away from the sport. We have had this question a lot, and I guarantee you, as a new promoter, you're going to have these questions a lot. Text messages, emails, social media messages about, hey, I'm using this. Is this allowed? Is that? We both have been in a realm of lifetime natural bodybuilding where it's pretty cut and dry. Like you're either natural or you're not, because the time frame for drug-free usage is so long. So as a healthcare practitioner, I have to go about that answer two ways. One, I have to look at it as a way of saying, hey, what's going to improve your lifestyle? What's going to be sustainable long-term? And what is not reliant but needed? I found that a lot of, especially the youth these days, want to jump on something because they don't maybe want to do the work necessary to get to that same result. And so I'm going to preach and say, hey, you haven't fulfilled A, B, C, and D yet. We shouldn't be looking at E and F. If we do fulfill these first and we're not getting the results we need, and let's say your blood work or your primary care physician says, hey, things are still not looking good. Well, that's why these medications exist. Those of whom that maybe want to jump to those things prematurely, that haven't maybe structured their nutrition, their exercise, their health standards, those are the ones that I really preach precaution on. Say, whoa, like you're jumping a gun and you're putting a Band-Aid on a wound that we can fix the wound, but you got to do the work first. And that's always been our approach. We work closely with some physicians in town and urologists and those of whom that work in endocrinology. And they're all of the same mindset, is saying, whoa, like this is stemming from something underlying. Let's see if we can make some lifestyle changes first before we jump to that matter. Now, if someone goes that route, or if I said, hey, I'm doing everything I can, we're still not making improvements, that's what those are for. And that's when I think it's a smart move to improve your lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's definitely like a shaded gray right now, and you get a lot of people that are coming in prematurely trying to use it, which I'm adamantly against because they don't know what their own natural capacity is.
Yeah.
But there's so much now too coming out of like the anti-aging, the improved bone mineral density, just longevity of testosterone hormones and lean tissue as one ages. It's like, well, if I'm going to be competing until I'm 77, like does it make sense from a health standpoint to stay natural at that point? I don't know.
I'm all about longevity, and I've always presented the question to people just because our culture is so diverse. If I said, hey, would you rather be the largest, most muscular human being in the gym, or would you rather be the one who's the oldest still in the gym? And you can only choose one, which one would it be? And it's always been pretty split. But I have found myself saying, I'd rather be that 80-year-old still killing it. Like that's personally I don't know, more admirable to me than being just the biggest, strongest guy in the gym in your 20s, because that doesn't last, right? But what does last is that longevity, health standards. My first coach, Cecil, was 82 when he was training me, and he still had it, man. And I was like, that's so inspiring. And you've been to our events before. You've seen 70 and 80-year-old competitors competing, and like they get probably the biggest round of applause out of anybody at the show. And the reason being is like, that is what this is all about. Health and nutrition over a long period of time. And you can't cheat that. So that's what I stand for. That's why I do the natural bodybuilding thing. If I didn't and I went the other route, well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be promoting this sport and doing things the way I do.
Yeah, totally, man. Where do you relax, bro? Like, how do you find relaxation in your life? How do you unplug and charge?
Yeah. I every Saturday I go on a good nature hike right now, like 2 or 3 hours out in nature, no phone or nothing, just a nice long walk. That's really helpful for me. We have some amazing hills, mountains, streams, rivers here in the Northwest. So I enjoy that. I try to get together with friends once a week, play cards. I have a date night with the wife once a week. I try to spend every evening an hour with my kiddos. What did we play last night? Guess Who? And then we've done Jenga. We played, some Magic cards and Pokemon cards this week. But every night, that's kind of my routine to make sure that I have my balancing act, if you will.
And how old are your kids again?
They are 8, so they're twins, boy-girl twins.
Are they going to the gym and working out with you yet?
They have their own thing. Trying to get my son to stretch his hamstrings is a chore, but he's playing soccer at a high level. Our daughter's playing cheerleading, or not playing, but competing in cheerleading at a high level. She'll be going to Utah and Florida here this month now as the championships are approaching. So they're high level sports. I like that team element, bettering themselves, and we do try to surround them with the highest end athletes for their age, so they can understand, leveling up and progressing as well.
That's awesome, man. I got a selfish question for you. With me as a new promoter, and you haven't done this for quite some time, what do I need to make sure? What boxes do I need to make sure I check in order for this to be a success, a win for me?
Well, number one is passion. You're going to notice that the longer you're in this game, you'll start picking up on other shows, promotion, things that work, things that don't. I find that getting out into those communities, meaning some of the local membership gyms, some in close proximity to your show, super important to know the coaches, the trainers, the gyms, and the gym owners, because they're the ones that are meeting with those potential clients or competitors more often than you are. So planting those seeds, out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. So if you're not doing your homework and shaking hands, getting to know those gyms, I reach out to all the local supplement shops, all the local gyms. I send a poster to all of them. I reach back to all the competitors who have competed with us in the past, but really coaches and trainers, those are the ones that make your show what it is, and making sure that they're rewarded for their attendance. I give free backstage passes to the trainers who are bringing athletes for the show if they bring 3 or more, because that's like helping everybody out. I want to let them know that we really appreciate that. Local sponsors, vendors who are in the natural bodybuilding game, really important there. And then on top of it, just returning competitors, letting them know, hey, spread the word, come back next year. If I have a pro like yourself who's won their pro card, I say, hey, you got a free entry for life coming back to our show. Thank you for bringing that level to our event. All of those boxes have been really important for us to see success. And I'm just sharing that with you to utilize as well.
No, I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to step back on your stage when I decide to do another prep.
Yeah.
Man, it's going to be good.
I want to see you in that pro class, dude. I honestly do. And you got to end it with those splits again.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, I'm going to think of something good for you to do when you coming out here to my show. Maybe guest posing, I guess, right?
Hey, I'm in shape. I'll do it. Yeah. More likely I'll be in decent shape. Maybe put some classic physique trunks on. I don't know if those glutes will be shredded yet.
There you go. Classic physique trunks. Well, real quick, man, where do people go to find out about your show, dive into your world, and just follow along, man?
Yeah, so we have a few Instagram pages. We have the Genuine Fitness Training page that's kind of covering our competitors and our trainers, how we train, our group posing classes. That's for Eugene, Oregon. We also do online training. Then we have our show promotion page, Washington State Natural. That's going to be, broadcasted all over on all our pages, but that will bring you to our website, freedomshows.com. That will be the site where you can register, check out the show. Memorial Day weekend is when we open up tickets sales. That way, if you want to buy some first class tickets, whether it be front row or general admission, or if you want to learn more about how to help the show, we have a lot of people who are throwing stuff in the goodie bags to make sure it's a worthwhile event for those competitors. Or if you're just like, hey, let me learn more about your shows in the future, you can shoot us an email. genuinefitnesstraining.com is the website.
Awesome, man. I'll make it easy for people to find you, sign up, get registered, all that good stuff. Let me know if you want me to send those bricks too, man.
Yeah. Anytime. I think right around the July, August timeframe, just checking all those boxes, because competitors love a good swag bag. And that's one thing Kevin and Linda taught me, was that, hey, fill these things up. Let competitors know you love on them and that you did your homework as a promoter to get as many people involved as possible.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, again, man, I truly appreciate you. I value our friendship, our relationship. You've been a massive, massive aid to me and just kind of figuring my path in the natural bodybuilding space. So, man, I owe you a lot, brother.
Hey, I have competitors all the time that know who you are because of your history and your success. And anyone I've ever had who jumps on the keto diet, they know exactly where to go. So we've been helping each other out for over a decade, and I want to continue doing so forever. So
100%, man. We'll keep killing it. We'll be in touch for sure, brother.
sounds great.